Good evening, Martyn's mates, and how are you doing? It's great to have you with me here again for another live Martyn Lucas chat show. I'm so excited. We got such a great audience, and before I start and introduce my guest, I would like to thank particularly all my really good fans and friends, particularly Alice, Anna Brooks there. Thank you so much indeed. Thank you so much. Preston Mercury's got a great YouTube channel all about Queen and the music of Freddie and Queen. So go and check that out. Thank you so much, everybody that's been coming in here in the last hour and chatting with Steve in the green room. Well, tonight, for my musical fans, there's always music in my shows. Every show is live. It comes out of the camera as I'm sat here in Texas talking to you. It's completely live, okay? Steve Reed, you've all been chatting with. He's a life coach, a Ziglar Choose to Win life coach. He's in my green room. Tonight, I'm going to bring music and some really deep thinking stuff. I hope you got your real deep thinking thought heads on tonight, because we're going to be digging down into those minds and hearts and souls with my special guest, Steve Reed. But you all know we always start off the show with this. First of all, guys, click on the subscribe button and ring the bell. Ding, 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 ding. Set notifications to all. That way you will know when I'm posting and when I'm on the show. My two moderators tonight, we got Alice there from England and Preston Mercury. They're going to be leaving you comments in the chat there tonight, explaining what to do. You can go onto my website, martynlucas.com, and you can click on Join the Fan Club. See it on the screen right below me, martynlucas.com. Go on there right now, and you can subscribe to the newsletter. If you want to receive text with a very special VIP benefits, to free tickets to my concerts when I tour again, text the word Lucas to 888111 to take part in all that's going on. But first of all, guys, let's go over to the piano because it's time to start off the show. You ready? Okay, here we go. All right, so here we are at the piano. Welcome to the Martyn Lucas Show. All kinds of chat and that. We bring you the people that you want to know at the Martyn Lucas Show. Oh, welcome to the Martyn Lucas Show. We bring you all kinds of chat and that. We bring you the people that you want to know at the Martyn Lucas Show. Welcome to the Martyn Lucas Show. We bring you all kinds of chat and that. We bring you the people that you want to know at the Martyn Lucas Show. Oh, at the Martyn Lucas Show. All right. There we go. Fantastic. We're live here at the Martyn Lucas Show, and we have our special guest here tonight in the room is Steve Reed. Steve Reed will be giving you some great tips and tricks. But tonight, because it's a special one, I wanted to do something special tonight that reflects Steve's mission and what he does and what it's all about. So I have a song tonight which links up perfectly with all my Queen fans. Okay, so all my Queen fans, this is especially for you. I want to thank all my Queen fans for joining me tonight. So what I'm going to do is start off with a song that reflects Steve's mission, what Steve Reed is all about. And he's probably thinking, behind me, he sat in my green, you see him on the screen behind me, he's probably thinking, what is he going to sing? What is he going to sing? Well, I'm going to sing this especially for Steve Reed tonight because we are all, of course, everybody, champions. Come on. I've paid my dues, time after time. I've done my sentence. I've committed no crime. I've made my mistakes. I've made a few. I got my shares and kicks in my face. I came through. We are the champions, my friends. And There we go. We are the champions. That's tonight, especially for our friends that over there at Queen, or my Queen fans that have joined me, and especially for my very good guest, of course, Steve Reed. Okay, let's go over now and join Steve Reed. He's in my green room, so I'm going to switch from this part of the studio to the other part. Here we go. All right, Steve Reed, how are you, my friend? Let's just get everybody brought into the show. I want to bring my volume up a little bit. There we go. It was a little bit down then when I was singing that. Right, I'm going to bring Steve in, and I want you to give him a great big round of applause. I know you're virtual. I know you're not here with me right now, but you are with me. I feel you all watching and listening to my music. So right now, we're going to unmute Steve. You are now unmuted, Steve. And on the count of 3, I want everyone to give a read. I want to see all on the live chat, right? Hearts and loves and likes and cheers. Are you ready, guys? Get on your emojis right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Martyn Lucas Chat Show. My good friend, Mr. Steve Reed. There he is. How are you, Steve?
I am doing fantastic. Martin, how are you?
Hey, mate, it's really cool to have you here on my show. I'm so excited, and we've got this. This is a record audience, I will tell you right now, for our chat shows. Our chat shows are not always the biggest of the shows. My live music tends to be bigger. But this is a fantastic this is the biggest live audience we've had for a chat show. Each one gets bigger. This is great. And all the emojis coming in. Look at this. Shelley Stevens just joined us. Susanna Reed, your lovely wife, she's here with us. Anna Brooks, Preston Mercury, you're getting kisses and loves and tags. This is absolutely great.
I only want the kisses from one.
So what's been going on? While I've been getting my suit on, you've been chatting away. It looks like there's been a lot going on in the green room.
We've been having some fun. Preston's been asking how to grow a mustache. I have no clue because I have a tough time growing hair in my head, so I don't know if I can help him with the mustache thing. So we've just been having some fun chatting away.
Absolutely great. Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, joining me in the green room is my star guest, Steve Reed. We come on and do about 2 or 3 different chat shows a week. Some fundraisers. On the 1st of August, we are raising money for a theatre, and I've got performers all over the United States, dancers and singers and musicians joining me, raising money to support our theatres that have all shut down. And every night, I'm here with my live music. We've got loads of music tonight, so keep your requests coming in for live music. Preston, no, I didn't get to learn that song yet. It takes me a couple of weeks to learn your song, so don't lose patience. It takes me a little bit of a while. I can't do it the same day. But tonight, we're talking to Steve Reed. Now, Steve Reed is a Choose to Win coach. When I came to America, I didn't know anything about that, because in England, in my little village, if you have problems in your mind, if you have stress, the guy next door will say, hey, mate, come down to the pub, we'll have a beer, and just bloody well get on with it. That's about the short of it. But in America, everyone has a coach. Everyone has coaches. And when I came here, I was like, what's all this about coaches? And I heard of Ziglar. I heard of that. That's quite a well-known word. I've heard of that before. But tonight, I'm going to literally, I want to delve into the mind and the ministry and the brain of my mate, Steve Reed. Okay? You've already been chatting with him. So, Steve, tell us all about you and what this is all about. And remember, this is your evergreen video. The world, whenever they search for life coaches or help me with my mind or my attitude, this video is going to come up. So Steve Reed, tell us all about you and what this is all about.
Well, I want to start by saying thank you, Martin, for having me on this evening. This is quite a pleasure and honor to be with you this evening. And the funny thing is, we live just a few miles apart. And here we are going international together, you from your studio, me from my office, and just having a blast. And one of the things that I tell people all the time, that without plans, our ideas and our goals fail unless we have good counselors. And so as a coach, I am nothing but a different set of eyes and a different set of ears. And I take a lot of years of coaching, and I simply listen to people and help to sometimes redirect their thinking, maybe help them clear some negative thinking out, maybe some positive thinking in, those types of things. But my objective is to listen to what's going on to people and help them really get rid of the junk in their lives so that they have a better grip on their lives, so to speak. That's kind of what I do.
Mate, I've talked to you loads of times, and you've always made me think about things, right? And it's hard because even though I'm a public person, I come on here and I sing and I performed all over the world and all these things, I'm a very private person. It's kind of strange, you wouldn't think so, would you? From sitting here performing and singing and entertaining, but I am, and I'm very nervous. And I'm very insecure when someone says something, I don't like it, or someone says something, on my YouTube channel, didn't like my song. I feel it and I get really down about it and it really upsets me. And I think, oh no, what have I done, But like, with me, you talk about your why and all that stuff, right? With me, I've no idea. And you said, you've told me before, you've got the attitude, what your why is, but really, Steve, I just live on the seat of my pants and I just make it up as I go along, and that's taken me around the world and doing all these I didn't even know, a few days ago, all these friends I've made here, Preston and all the guys on the Queen channel, things just develop. So you tell me about my why. What is my why? Help me to understand what my why is, because I have no idea.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about purpose before we go to why. The why is what gets you up in the morning. It's not paying the bills and I've got the mortgage payment, the car payment, and so forth. It's the ability to help other people in many cases. Now everybody is different and what their why is. If you look on my wall over to the right hand side, I've got what's called a dream board or a vision board, and it has probably about 20 or so different pictures on there of things that I want to accomplish in my life. And the things include a trip to Tahiti. My wife would love to go to Tahiti. I'd love to have a cabin in the woods someplace just to get away from things. Those are some of my whys. But then you have other whys of being able to help other people. I want to counsel and coach as many people as I possibly can. When I'm doing marriage and pre-marriage coaching, my objective is to help those couples have forever marriages. And in order to do that, sometimes we have to get rid of some junk in our lives so that we can have a better relationship with our spouse. And in the process, when you get rid of the junk, that opens up opportunities for good stuff to come in. Because as long as you've got the junk in your life, it keeps all of the good stuff at bay, so to speak. So that's one of the things. But then I also talk with a lot of people about their purpose in life. And the way I describe purpose, fast forward to the day that you are going to die. Now, we don't know that. No man knows the day that they're going to die. But let's pretend for a moment, and you have that date. And what you want to do is turn around and look behind you and see what you have done in your past. And oftentimes that is your purpose. If your purpose, like Martyn, my friend Barbara Sanders, she is working with a group of women in Tennessee, and they're building a transition home for women that have come out of incarceration scenarios. And so as a result, that has become her purpose or her why in doing some of the things that they do. For me, it's helping other people. One of my dominant gifts is being that of exhortation. And people have said that exhortation is somebody that has a lot of mercy, which I do, but they've lived through some very difficult circumstances and lived to talk about it. So I take those circumstances and all of the challenges that I've had, and I incorporate that and the experience that I have in helping other people get through similar types of circumstances. Does it make sense?
It does. It does make sense. But one of the questions I've always wanted to ask you, and listening to you right now, it makes me think of it again. How do you get people to really open up and tell you the truth of how they really feel? Because I don't know about, anyone else here, but every day I feel different. Every day I have different thoughts in my mind. I'm always, like I said, and I really appreciate some of my friends here, supporting me, saying hooray for Martyn, and Martyn, your songs and videos are great. Giving me encouragement, because I doubt myself every day. So how do people open up when they talk to you and let you in, because you come into their private homes. Maybe it's a couple that are arguing, having problems, and they turn to you for help. How do you get people? I don't know. See, I'm not American. I'm from England. I'm very private and conservative. Even though I do all this, it would be really difficult to open my mind and for you to climb in and dig around there and, get me to tell you how I really feel. So that must be a challenge. How do you get people to come to you and say, Steve, help me, or even start the question?
Well, Martyn, that's a great question, and I get that all the time. The number one thing that I have to do is I have to convince people or show people that I'm somebody that they can trust. Now, obviously, when I'm coaching somebody, I don't disclose any private information with anybody outside of my coaching world. So everything that they say to me is totally confidential. So that's number one. So it's you have to trust, or they have to trust me. Number two is I just ask a lot of questions. And when I'm dealing with somebody that has had a lot of life experience, a lot of hurts in their life, I may ask them a question that starts with, well, tell me about a time that you felt like you were rejected. Or tell me about a time that you felt like you were a victim or you were abandoned. And when they do that, they start opening up. And I'll give you a case in point. I'm not going to name any names, but I had a client several years ago that when he was 5 years old, his mother punished him in a very cruel way. And because of that, he got to the point where he could not handle anyone touching him, physically touching him. Well, he became a police officer. And when I was working with him, there were some times that I would just put my hand on his shoulder or put my hand on his knee or something like that. And he bristled. After a few days of working with him, he finally realized that I was somebody that he could trust because I was listening to him. And that's probably the biggest thing that I listen to what people are going through. I mentioned in the chat room a minute ago that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. He wants us to listen more than we talk, especially when you're talking about a husband-wife relationship. Listen more than you talk. Sometimes when your spouse says something, sometimes you have to reword the things that they say to make sure that you understand exactly what it is. Because a lot of times, as a guy, I understand things differently than my wife Suzanne does. She may say something and I totally misinterpret what she said.
Let's do that. When I come in a few minutes, we're going to come back. We're going to have some music now.
Okay.
Let's come back and talk about the whole thing with family and wife and husband and wife. My wife is listening from the other room, so she's hearing all this. So I'm going to be completely honest, all right? Don't worry, Leah. I'm not going to say anything bad. But we're going to have I want to talk about that. But you mentioned that story. Well, when I was a kid, I was bullied for years and years because I was different and did things differently. And one of the songs that carried me through life was this next song. It's Elton John's I'm Still Standing. And it makes me think about what you talked about there. I was bullied for 8 years. Every day I'd come home from school, punch in the face, nose running down my face. And I remember the boy that did it, Simon Morris. I forgot all my other friends at school, but that kid, I never forgot his name, Simon Morris. And Preston, you just said, can I play Benny and the Jets? So here's a bit of Elton John for you. And this is I'm Still Standing. So I'm going to go over to the piano and sing this one. I'll be right back with Steve Reed in just a couple of moments. All right, let's go over to the piano. All right. I got it all queued up. Here we go. Hey! Come on! You never know what it's like. Blood like freezes, just like ice. A cold low light that shines from you. You wind up like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. Did you think this fool could never win? Look at me, I'm coming back again. The taste of love, a simple way. You need to know why I'm still standing. You know I'm still standing better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time. All the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing, yeah, 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 alright. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's get serious, come on. This is Elton John's Jacket. I'm still standing better than I ever did. All the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing after all this time. All the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alright. I'm still standing. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing. There we go. I'm still standing. And this was Elton John's Jacket he gave to me when I won the World Piano Man. What we got, Preston? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alice, she's there dancing away. Thank you so much, guys. Preston, PTSD is a difficult challenge for everyone. I have helped through. It takes intense work. I'm sure it does. So I'm going to go back over now to Steve in our green room. All right, let's bring Steve back in again now. So we touched on a few things there that I wanted to ask Steve about. All right, so we'll bring Steve in again right now. So yeah, Steve, maybe if you'd been around all those years ago, you might have been able to help me every day at school because I was, into my music and so on and so forth. I was bullied and every night, and it upset my mum more than it did me. And even now, today, I don't know, 30, 40 years later, I still have nightmares and dreams. And in some ways, most creative people have had some kind of problem. And it pushes me on to do stuff. But even though like my channel is growing and all my fans and friends are joining me and this is really taking off, when one person says something negative, it really upsets me, and someone did the other day. Preston, do you remember I put that video out singing Happy Birthday to Roger Taylor from Queen? Someone on Facebook said, you shouldn't give up the day job. And I had thousands of great compliments and one negative one, and it really upset me. How do you deal with that? I would love you to help me with that, because I'd love confidence. Even though you think I probably have confidence, it's because I try to get round it and try to be successful, which is why I do all these things to help people. I don't know. But if you got any advice for people like me, because a lot of people have been bullied like me and then go on to become creative people and have stress. And I have nightmares every night. My wife will tell her I wake up screaming, all sorts.
Probably the number one thing that I teach to my clients is a simple little phrase. And before I get to the phrase, I want to paint the scenario, and you actually already painted it, where you have 1,000 people that like something that you've done, like one of your songs, like one of your videos, but that one person says that they didn't like it. So stop and think about this. There's a phrase that I use that I give to all of my clients early in the process of us working together. It goes like this: I will consider your opinion. That's it.
Yeah, you're right. I should say that, right?
So when you think about it, if 1,000 people liked what you were doing and one person didn't, does that one person's opinion really matter?
And I just want to point out one thing. When you say 1,000 people, Preston and Alice are going to put you straight here. It's actually not 1,000. It's 2.9 million views in the last 3 months. So if you're going to say something, you got to get it right. 2.9, and I'm thank you to my friends for that.
But even if you're in a conversation and you're in a room and there are 10 people, and 9 out of the 10 say something very positive about you, and that one person
I
says
know.
something that's really off the wall, yes, you consider their opinion, but it's not if it's not relevant to what the other people are saying, then why do you need to hold on to that? You don't. You need to
You can't
jettison
help
them.
it. You can't help it. You feel bad. It's you always remember the negative. It's like there are so many people, whatever it is, whether we're talking about politics, whether we're talking about current affairs, whatever.
Sure.
There are millions of people in the background at home just getting on with it. But there
Yeah.
are some people ranting and shouting and fighting on Facebook or whatever, and it's those negative comments that everyone gets to hear about. There could be millions of people who are okay with the situation or whatever, but negativity always seems to rise above the positive.
Well, unfortunately, bad news travels 11 times faster than good news does. That's the unfortunate side of things. So that's one of the things that I like to impress upon people is being positive in the things that you say and do, the things that you allow into your brain. If you're always allowing negative things into your brain, the positive doesn't have room to be in your brain. So you have to replace or be conscious of what negative things you are allowing to come into your brain. So if you're listening to the negative news all the time and you're not filling yourself with good, positive things, then you're going to be negative. So it's in the words that you say, it's in the words that you listen to, the things that you receive from other people that may or may not be truth. And I try to help people understand what real truth really is.
Do you think it's best then to avoid anything negative? I ask that because some of my friends back in Cornwall, and as you know, I've travelled all over the world, and some of the happiest people I've ever met are the people who lived the most simplest lives. They would regard themselves as ignorant to the fact. Right, they live in a little village. They're not aware of anything that's going on, and they're the happiest people in the world. And it seems the more you know, the more stress you have in your head.
That's true. That is true. So live a more simple life. I mean, Suzanne and I are always trying to figure out how we can simplify things as much as possible. And she's always telling me you need to turn your phone off, turn your iPad off, turn your computer off, and just get away from all the electronics. And I agree. And one of my ways to rescue myself is to get a good book, listen to a good podcast. And I talk about Zig Ziglar all the time because I started following him back in the early 80s. And one of the things that he talked about was the amount of negative stuff that we put in our brains. And he used to talk, 40 years ago, he talked about people and our mobile university. So now we're not driving as much because of the virus stuff that's going on. But if you're in your car lot, instead of listening to the radio, listen to a podcast. Listen to something from a Zig Ziglar or a Tom Hopkins or a Dennis Waitley or Tony Robbins or something that's positive that's going to fill your brain.
Tell me about Steve. Tell me how Steve became. I think it's amazing that you can create a business. You've done this. This is how you pay your bills, right? You live on the fact that you give it this support and advice and to listen to people. I think that's incredible because I say I'm this most hidden person. I don't really want to say anything. I think it's incredible that you're that gifted and you have that much, wonderful things to say to people that you've turned it into the way you live. This is what you do. This is how you provide for your family. So who is Steve Reed? Someone mentioned in the chat, I think it was Preston, said you're a Vietnam vet. Is that right? Was he talking about you?
Say that again.
A Vietnam vet. Are you did you?
No, I'm not.
No.
Oh, you're saying that his father was a Vietnam.
Oh, his father. Oh, I do apologize. So Steve, tell me about you. What is it? How did you get to be in this position where you are today?
Well, the Reader's Digest. I graduated from college in '78. My undergraduate degree is in psychology. I was planning on becoming a pastor of a church. My senior year, I just changed directions on what I was going to be doing, and I got into outside sales. But along the way, I started listening to people like Zig Ziglar, and he really helped me to formulate my thoughts so I understood and could relate to people in a different way. In 1988, 89, I started understanding something about personality temperaments. And I started understanding what the Greek temperaments were. I'm not going to go into that because to me it was confusing. But then in 93, I learned about the DISC personality temperaments, DISC. And I realized that people are wired differently, and I have to be able to communicate with people the way they need to be communicated with. And I had to be able to listen to people in their language instead of just listening the way I wanted to listen. I realized there are people that are extroverted, and then you've got introverted people. You have people that are task oriented and those that are people oriented. And I started learning how to identify the different personalities, and I started teaching this process to people. And then along the way, somebody says, "Hey, I've got a problem over here. Can you help me?" And all of a sudden, I found myself as a life coach with that particular person. And that went on for several years. And then somebody said, "Well, my wife and I are having some challenges. Can you help us?" And then I started just listening to them and coaching from that perspective. And I've just continued to read and look for resources. I've been through so many conferences and seminars and books and emails and newsletters and videos. I mean, you name it. I'm like a sponge when it's understanding what makes people tick and how to help people get through the life issues that they are dealing with. Then in 2009, I went through a life enrichment type program that radically changed my life. And I was dealing with some unforgiveness issues, frankly. And I was able to get rid of those emotions that were tied to the events that had happened 5, 10, 15, 20 years earlier. And because I was holding on to those things, I kept replaying those things in my head, and that was suppressing me. When I was able to get rid of those things, all of a sudden, I started to have emotional freedom, and I could fill the freedom, the hole that was left there with more positive things in the way. And in the process of doing that, I became a better coach because I can listen to people better and I can empathize with people even better.
Do you know what? I am so honored and so happy that I was able to get you on the show, listening to you talk, where you come from, where you're going. I want to talk to you. I want to talk and ask you in a few minutes. I'm going to do a little song. I have a color request here. But when I come back, I want to talk to who the sort of people that need to talk to you, even if they think in their life everything is great, I'm happy, everything's great. I want to talk to the sort of people that would benefit from coming to talk to you and learn from what you're saying. So what I'm going to do now is we have a song, and a few people have made some lovely comments here in the chat. It's just wonderful. I wanted to say hello to Ruben Carrillo. He's just popped up to say hello. Anna Brooks. Hi, Anna Brooks. I want to ask everybody, you see on the screen, martynlucas.com, my website. If you go on there and click at the top of the page, on the home page, and you can join the fan club, the newsletter. Click on the top. And also, if you text the word Lucas to the number 888111, you'll be part of my VIP club. But I wanted to thank all these people here, Preston and Alice and all my really good fans and friends for joining me here. But also, so I've got a little gift to give away, right? Okay. Here I had this made, right? This is for all my real good fans and friends, right? So I've got this. All right.
Woohoo!
It's a Martyn Lucas t-shirt. Okay? There you go. And I will sign it as well, and I will send it anywhere in the world. So, because I know I've got friends and fans all around the world. So what I'm going to do is through the month of August, the person who watches the most minutes and the most comments and likes, the whole thing together, because I can see who's liking and who's commenting and stuff like that, I will send that shirt to you. So if you want to win that shirt, and I'll sign it for you as well, and I'll take a picture with my phantom mask. Right. So people know it's the real one, okay, right next to it. Okay, what I want you to do is, it's the person that watches the most watch minutes and the most likes and descriptions and you like things and you comment, and it tells me who's made the most comments, who's watched the most minutes, and I will send you that t-shirt signed anywhere in the world, whoever wins it. So I'm looking for my number one fan for the month of August. All right. Okay, you can start doing it whenever you want. Right, I'm going to come back to Steve in a few minutes' time, and we're going to talk about that. But right now, I've had a request for Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah, and I think it links perfectly with the things that you've been talking about tonight. So here we go. I forgot to change the camera. Better do that, hadn't I? Okay, there we go. Back over there at the piano. All right then, folks. Here we go.
Heard there was a secret chord David played and he pleased the Lord. Don't really care for music, do ya? It goes like this: the fourth and the fifth, the minor fall and the major lift, the Bible king composing hallelujah, hallelujah. Strong, but you needed proof. You saw her dancing on the roof. Now beauty and a moonlight overthrew ya. She tied you to a kitchen chair. She broke your throne and she cut your hair. And from the lips she drew the hallelujah, hallelujah. Before I've seen this room and I walked this floor. I used to live alone, for I knew ya. I've seen your flag on your marble arch. Love is not a victory march, it's a calling, it's a broken. God above, and all I've ever learned from love was how to shoot somebody who I drew ya. It's not a cry that you hear at night. It's not somebody who's seen the light. It's a chord, it's a broken hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
All right, Steve. Well, I'm back now with Steve Reed in my guest room tonight. He's been in my green room drinking all my champagne and eating all my chocolates. That's what goes on. Steve, I love that song. Do you like that song? It's Hallelujah.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It's a beautiful song, and thank you ever so much. Looks like we got Alice and Preston fighting out from there, fighting out. Don't all go crazy on the first night, guys. This is for the whole month of August. The whole month of August, my analytics will tell me who has watched the most minutes and done the most comments and the most likes across all my channel, and I will then send that T-shirt to you anywhere in the world. Okay, so let's see who wins. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. All right, good stuff. Well, Steve, so we were talking about marriage. That's another thing. I got married a few years ago, 3 years ago, and I love my wife very much. But let's just put it this way. Men and women are very different. We have very different ideas.
Yes.
How can you help? When I came to America, people said to me, happy wife, happy life. And I learned that lesson. I've learned that lesson. I think marriage, but I'm sure you'll tell me, but I think marriage is about compromise, acceptance, and understanding. They're just three words that just popped into my head. I didn't plan to say that. I think that's it. When you love someone, you accept they might have a different idea to you, understanding, compromise, all that kind of stuff. What's your top tip? If someone comes to you and they just got married and they'd like to be one of those couples that are married for life, and I have some wonderful friends who've been married like 50 years.
Okay.
What's the top tip, Steve?
Well, number one is, I'm going to tell you, first of all, my wife Suzanne and I have only been married for 4 years. Well, it'll be 4 years at the end of August.
Congratulations.
And unfortunately, we both went through ugly situations with previous spouses, but we found each other. We actually met each other back in the mid-'90s where I was leading worship in a church, and she was one of the singers on one of the teams that I was overseeing. And we became friends. We lost touch for 15 years. Reacquainted, reconnected about 5 summers ago, and fast forward August 26th of 2016, we got married. As we were going through the process, and I keep in mind, I'm a life and marriage coach, but I want to make sure that I was doing things right, or we did. So the pastor that married us, we wanted to get to know he and his wife, and they us, and so forth. And as we were talking one evening at dinner, Eric, fabulous guy, he says, here's the number one thing that I can recommend for you. And I totally agree with him. He says the number one thing that couples need to do is work more on their relationship and their friendship than they do on their marriage. There were things that brought the two of you together. So work on those things more than anything else. So that's number one. Number two, learn how to communicate with the other person. There's a great book by Gary Chapman. It's called The 5 Love Languages. I highly recommend it because every one of us has a different love language. Make sure that you are speaking Leah's love language and that she needs to be able to speak yours, because you have to fill her love tank on a regular basis. If you don't, if you poke a hole in the bottom and you do something that hurts her, all the love is going to come dripping out the bottom. But if you keep filling up the top and plug up that little hole, then you're going to fill her cup to overflowing. So that's number one. And number two. Number three, there's another great book. Bear with me. I don't mean to turn my back on everybody, but there's a great book. This is the workbook that I work with. It's called Love and Respect. It's a fabulous book. And the premise of the book is men wear blue glasses, women wear pink glasses. Women need love, men need respect. So, Martyn, your number one responsibility is to love your wife. Her number one responsibility is to respect you. Now, there are a lot of couples that I work with that will say, well, I can't respect him after X, or she may say, or he may say, there's no way I can love her after what she did. Well, that's not a choice. It's not an option. If you want a forever marriage, you have to understand the difference between love and respect. So men are commanded in the Bible to love their wives. Women are commanded in the Bible to respect their husbands. So those three things. So work on the friendship, understand the 5 love languages, love and respect. Number 4 is understand the other person's personality type. And that's where the DISC model comes in understanding how to communicate better with them. My wife, for instance, she is a very high I personality type. She loves having fun. I'm a very detailed person, and I'm typically somewhat introverted. Much like yourself, a lot of people that are out there on stage and so forth are actually introverted, and I'm a task-oriented. She's into people and fun. Well, I have to understand that, and I have to relate to her in the ways that she understands, and she needs to relate to me in the ways that I understand. So when you understand all of those things combined, then all of a sudden you're heading towards a good, solid, long-term, forever relationship with your spouse.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And I also think that one of the most important things is to find that person who you want to do all those things with and for.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, I had a wonderful home in England, a life, and in my little village, and I was very, very happy. Thank you very much. And due to coronavirus and all this stuff, I've not been able to go home now for nearly a year. So it's a big sacrifice for me because I miss my village, I miss my friends, I miss everything. I'm an Englishman, I've tried my best to live the American life and ask everybody, have a nice day and how are you and all that. But I'm from a different. I was cut from a different cloth. I want to moan about everything all the time, not say everything's great all the time. I'm from England. I'm supposed to be moaning all the time, not good, right? But I'm here, and I don't regret a single day because I love my wife and I'm happy to be here. And that's the thing. You need to find that person where you are prepared to make those sacrifices for. Not every relationship you had before was like that.
That is very true. That is very true. Let me touch on a couple of things that I do to help people get through this thing called life. Zig Ziglar many years ago came up with what he called the wheel of life, and there are 7 spokes on the wheel of life, and everybody has all 7 of these spokes. I help people improve each of the 7 spokes, and the spokes are real simple. We have a mental spoke, we have a spiritual spoke, we have a physical spoke, we have a career spoke, a family spoke, a financial spoke, and a personal spoke. And if those are not growing at the same pace and are in balance, then it's kind of like you have a flat tire. And if you've got a flat tire, it's not going to run smoothly. So we have to help people get to where they need to be in the 7, 8, 9, 10 range in that wheel of life. So that's what I do when I'm coaching clients, is we look at those things where you're out of balance. We try and pull those things in so that they become balanced all the way around. That's the easiest way to describe what a choose to win coach is, which is my licensing with Mr. Ziglar and the Ziglar organization.
So tonight, Steve, you are talking to people live around the world, and this video will continue to grow. And I'd like to ask everyone here today to click on the share button, share it to your email, your text, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Twitter, all those things. You can share all of this. And below in the description are Steve's contact details, okay? His website, his email, all those things. And if we need to add more in, Steve will go back and look at the messages and he will add more. Once this video finishes, and in a few hours from now, maybe 6 hours, by tomorrow, this video will be processed. Please, please, please go back and comment. I know Alice and Preston are going to be doing it because they're trying to win the t-shirt. But go back into the comments below, because you can't comment live in there at the minute, I don't believe, until the live stream is finished, and continue the conversation. And Steve will come back and he'll comment back with you. But I'd like you to reach out to Steve and have a conversation. So Steve, because this is going to be a global video, if people wanted to talk to you and they wanted to get advice on their lives, their marriages, their business, whatever it is they need help with, can they do that virtually? So they can do it over like what I'm talking to you now on a Zoom call?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, virtually all of my coaching these days is done via Zoom.
There you go. There you go. So once you've watched this video and you've gone back and you shared it, then comment tomorrow in the comments below, reach out to Steve and set up those conversations, get down deep into the nitty gritty. I've seen so many. I'm going to get a chance to go back and look at all these comments below, but it looks like lots of people are asking you questions and want tips and tricks and advice and stuff like that. So that's absolutely great. You can go back and talk to Steve, and I hope this video will be a reference point for Steve Reed. You don't know, but not only does Steve Reed give wonderful advice and coaching tips. Also, as you see from his banner behind, he does a little thing which I will talk to you about in a few minutes when I come back. He performed in one of my shows when he appeared as Jesus' half-brother, James, and he spoke, and it was amazing. People loved it in the theatre. It was like I was singing 1 minute, and then the next minute you got this going on. And it was like everyone was silent, like, what's going on? And they were drawn in to Steve's presentation on the stage. It was absolutely great. And I'll post in the description a link to the video. We'll put the video up. We'll put the video up actually on YouTube. It's not there right now, I don't think. We'll put the video up and I'll put a link in it, and you can go across and you can see Steve do his thing as half-brother James. But right now, I'm going to leave you with that, and you can tell us all about that and what you do there with Steve Reed Ministries in a few minutes' time. But I've had a request for a song, and I think this sums things up as well. Don't Stop Me Now. I'm full of energy. I'm ready to go. Rock and roll. It's a Queen classic, so all my Queen fans are going to love this. So I'm going to go back over to the piano. I'll be back with Steve in a few minutes where he'll talk about his ministries, and then we'll start to wrap up the show. And you've been great to join me tonight, folks. So let's go over to the piano and let's do that song, all right? Bit of Queen, Don't Stop Me Now, all right? All right. Let me just bring the volume up again. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to speed things up for you now, and we want you to sing along with this one. At home, if you're watching me, wherever you are, watching me around the world tonight, I want you to turn up the TV, and I'm going to do a bit of Queen, and this time I'm going to do Don't Stop Me Now, all right? And don't forget, if you want to win that T-shirt, which I'll send out and sign for you, the way you win that is it's on watch time, okay? Not just views, watch time. So if you go onto my videos, and the person who watches the most and comments the most and likes the most for the month of August will be sent the T-shirt. Okay, here is Don't Stop Me Now. Here we go. Tonight, I'm gonna have myself a real good time. I feel alive. And the world is turning inside out, yeah. I'm floating around in ecstasy, so don't stop me now. Tonight, gonna have myself a real good time. I feel alive, and the world is turning inside out, yeah. I'm floating around in ecstasy, so don't stop me now. Don't stop me. I'm having a good time, having a good time. I'm a racing car passing by the clinic and diver. I'm gonna go, no stopping me, 'cause I'm burning through the sky, yeah. 200 degrees coming to Fahrenheit. Traveling at the speed of light, wanna make the supersonic man out of you. Don't stop me now, having such a good time. I'm having a ball. Don't stop me now, having such a good time. Just give me a call. Don't stop me now, having a good time. Don't stop me now, having a good time. Don't want us to bet on, yeah. I'm a rocket ship on my way to Mars, on a collision course. I'm a satellite. I'm out of control, like a second machine ready to reload. Like an atom bomb, about to stop me slow, 'cause I'm we go. Don't stop me now. All right, let's go back and see Steve again. All right, Steve, let's bring Steve back into our chat. We're going to wrap up the show now, folks. Steve has been a great guest tonight. I hope you've all enjoyed it. My fans and friends around the world, I hope you've enjoyed everything that you've heard tonight. Steve, you've been a great guest, my friend.
And you've been a great host.
You delivered some wonderful wisdom, some great stories, some great information, and I'm sure the people that have been listening have been enjoying it. And I hope you'll all go now and reach out to Steve. Once this video finishes processing later on tonight, go back tomorrow and go back into, you can click on the little button now which says share, and you can share it to yourself, so it reminds you. You can also click the watch later button at the top, and you can go back tomorrow and you can and go into the chat and continue the conversation with Steve Reed. Steve, just before we finish, just tell everybody about your James.
Oh, well, okay, here's the very much the Reader's Digest version. Probably about 25 or 30 years ago, I started having crazy thoughts. And of course, I said earlier, I grew up in the church, been very involved in church music for virtually all of my adult life. And I used to have some crazy thoughts because I had seen a lot of church productions, biblical storylines where they told the story about Jesus' birth from the perspective of his mother Mary or his father Joseph, or from an angel or a shepherd, something like that. But I had never heard the story told from the perspective of one of his siblings. And going on through the entire life of Jesus, nobody ever talked about his siblings. And I started doing some research on it, and I couldn't find anything. I started having crazy thoughts. And one of the thoughts was, imagine this for a minute. Now, keep in mind, Jesus is the Son of God. You have James, who's about 10 years old. Jesus is about 12 years old. There's about 2 years difference between them. The favorite thing they did when they weren't doing their Torah studies or their chores around the house is they would play games. And their favorite game was playing hide and seek. Now, think about this. James could never find Jesus, but Jesus could always find James. Because Jesus was God. And he could, leap tall buildings in a single bound and faster than a speeding bullet. No, that's Superman. But anyway, you get the idea. So James, one day he's cheating and he's going to peek as Jesus goes that way. So he's counting off Deuteronomy 1, Deuteronomy 2, Deuteronomy 3. And he's cheating. He sees his brother go that way. But when he finds him, when he gets to 100, his brother's in the other direction. And he freaks out. How did you do that? Because I saw you go that way. So, well, he's the Son of God. So that's how all of this started. And then I started, actually, I had the pleasure of taking care of my mom for about 2.5 years. I was living in Maryland with her. She was 86 at the time. And that's when I wrote my first book, My Half-Brother. And it's all of these anecdotal stories. Now, it is a novel, so you're not going to do any biblical research on it, although I took all of the stories directly from the Bible. I just put it through James's eyes instead of Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John's eyes, okay? So that's how the whole thing started. And it's along the way, somebody says, you really need to get a costume, and you need to go on stage and dress up and tell the stories live. And I said, well, okay, I'll do that. So I started doing that and had an absolute blast doing it. One of the favorite things I have to do. That's part of my purpose.
I love talking to you, Steve, and I am going to put the link in and show you Steve doing it. It's absolutely great. So come back and you'll see that video of Steve performing on stage as Jesus half-brother James. Absolutely great.
Can I do one real quick shameless plug?
Please do.
But it's not a shameless plug for me. My friend Tom Ziglar loves helping all of his coaches, but even more so loves helping people in general. And Tom has offered to do a webinar this coming Thursday at 2 o'clock Central Time. And the title of the webinar is Success in Spite of. And he's going to be talking for about 45 to 60 minutes, giving all kinds of incredible information that I'm going to be taking notes on the whole time. But then he's opening it up to a free Q&A session. Now, keep in mind, Tom is the proud son of Zig Ziglar himself. Tom is an author. He's a conference speaker. He's a keynote speaker. He's wealth of knowledge himself. So for him to give us this opportunity, all you have to do is register. There's no charge for it. It's free. But I would love anybody that sees this. Now, keep in mind, it's time sensitive. It's this coming Thursday. That's the 30th, 2:00 Central Time. I put the link in the chat, and I can put it any place else you want me to put it. It's real simple. It's bit.ly/success in spite of.
Yes, put that. That's a really important link, and I would ask anyone to go and check it out. You need to do that once you're able to go below the video in the comment section. And if you struggle with it, just send it to me and I'll put it in the description, which is only I can do anyway. But once this video renders itself in a few hours after this, you will be able to put, there's a comment box below, which is permanent. And you will be able to go into the comments box and put all those things there. And I'm sure all my friends here will go back and they'll be commenting with you. So please do go and comment tomorrow in the video once the video is then processed. And it's now, it's not a live stream anymore. It's a permanent video on my channel. And you can go back and comment on it. And please do, Steve. And if you have any problem with that, I will make sure it's posted into the description and information. But that would be great. That sounds a great opportunity to go and hear that. Well, as Steve was saying that, we're going to wrap up the show very shortly. And here's a song I wanted to put in. This is What a Wonderful World. And I thought that might happen. That's not going to happen. We had a slight technical glitch there. I thought I would try something, and that's not going to happen. But that's fine. We can go to Plan B. Steve, you've been absolute pleasure. Thank you ever so much for coming in. We've had a record audience of watching it live. This was absolutely fantastic. The numbers have been amazing. The people chatting in the box there. It looks like there's going to be a bit of a competition to win my shirt. Oh, there we go. Preston's just posted something. Let me just show it. What has he put in there? Would like to explain why you and her head banging in the back of the class. people dancing at home. Well, apparently, what did it say? Anna Brooks was dancing. I think she said she was dancing when I was singing "Don't Stop Me Now." Preston's put down John chapter 3 verse 16. Does that mean anything to you? That's a verse and a chapter and a verse out of the Bible, right? I think.
Well, John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and whoever believes in him will not die.
There we go. So Preston's on it. He's on it already. Alice, I can imagine that happening a lot. I've got some wonderful comments. I'm going to go back and read all these comments very shortly. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you ever so much for joining us tonight. It's been a really great show, and I hope you all will go and check out Steve Reed and all the information in the description below. All his links are there below. And tomorrow, come back once the video is rendered. For my friends and fans around the world, thanks ever so much for joining me. Thank you ever so much for moderating during the live show. And also, if you want to win that T-shirt, it starts now and it goes through to the end of August. The person who does the most watch minutes. So if you start a video and stop it, that doesn't count. It's all about the watch minutes and the likes and comments. So what you could do is you could start a video and turn the volume down and just leave it running in the background. You could go for hours like that. And the person who wins, who watches the most, will be sent my T-shirt. I'm going to go back to the piano because I tried to play a recording of this song, but it didn't work. But I want to play it for you live, Steve. This is for you, mate, because since I met you, you've inspired me. And the things that you say and the way you say it and the way you deliver it, I'm really happy that I managed to get you on my show. We've got some great shows coming up. On August the 1st, we're doing a full theatre show from the studio. I've got performers all over the country joining me, and all the money is going direct to the theatre. August the 13th, we've got a really big one full of celebrities. Bon Jovi is sending me his guitar into the studio. Where I am now, I'll have Bon Jovi's guitar in the studio. The Mavericks and Mark Cuban are going to come on and sing behind me down at the stadium. That's going to be fun. All sorts of stuff is happening on the Martyn Lucas show as we go on, and it's very, very exciting times. But this is for you, Steve, this song I'm going to do for you right now. Let me just go back over to the piano once again. Oh, we seem to have... That's strange. Yeah. I've not seen that before. Okay, here we go.
lilies of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I say to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, and the dark sacred night. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on their faces are people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do. They're really saying I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, I say to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh yeah. There we go. What a wonderful world it is. All right. Well, Steve, you've been absolutely great tonight, mate. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on my show. Just leave us with a final thought to everybody watching this right now.
Oh, gosh, final thought. I would say always stay positive. Run like heck away from negative stuff. Turn off the TV, turn off all of the negative stuff, stay focused. Continue to feed your mind with positive things, good books, good podcasts. Stay around good quality people. If you're hanging around people that are doing things that you know are wrong, get away from them. Get around people that are going to be uplifting and beneficial to you. For me, I spend as much time in prayer and in scriptures I possibly can. Those are the things that keep me going on a day-to-day basis. So,
well, Preston agrees with you. He's just put absolutely. Janet Hudson, thank you ever so much for joining the show. Preston says, stay away from the Twinkies. Janet said, hi, Steve, great show. Alice, Preston, LOL. Steve, Alice, you have to care about you, not in a selfish way. This is wonderful. So many wonderful chats and comments. I'm going to go back and have a look at all these. Don't forget, guys, to go in the description below. Put your comments in there tomorrow. As soon as it renders on YouTube, you better go back in there, comment. Tonight, in a few hours' time, I've got another Queen song coming out live on YouTube. So join me for that premiere tonight. My next show, I won't be on tomorrow, is August the 1st. Join me for that worldwide theatre show. I got people from all over the world joining me for a live theatre show. We're raising money for a theatre that has been shut for 4 months. And the biggest loss is the people that can't go and be entertained and enjoy themselves and get together in a theatre. So what I've done, I've put on a show, and everyone who donates and buys a ticket to watch the show, all the money goes to support the theatre. None of it comes to me. It's all to support the theatre. That's August the 1st. I reckon Preston and Alice and my friends will be there watching live. It will be a good night. We're going to have a lot of fun here in the studio. Steve, once again, thank you ever so much for joining me. You've been a great guest. Been an absolute pleasure having you, mate. I hope everyone goes and communicates with you and reaches out. Steve's a wonderful chap. We've only just touched the surface of Steve tonight, but I've known Steve now for a few months. In fact, about a year and a half.
Couple of years.
And he's a great bloke. I can't wait to see you again, mate. We're gonna go out and have a pint of beer. We're gonna meet in one of those good American steakhouses. Nice big steak, a pile of chips on the top, a couple of beers, and we're going to have a night out with the boys, mate. It's going to be absolutely great. I really look forward to that. Mate, you've been an absolute legend. I'm now going to leave you now with some music and give me and Steve a chance. Going to have a cup of tea. Here's a bit of Frank Sinatra to take you out. Carry on watching. As long as you're watching, folks, I'll keep the playlist playing. This is a bit of Frank Sinatra. Till next time, till we meet again on August the 1st, live here in the chat show. God bless America. God save the Queen. And we look forward to seeing you all next time. Thank you ever so much. Bye-bye for now. Here's some Frank Sinatra taking us out with this. Here we go. Take care, everybody. See you later, Steve.
Good night.
I have been a rover. I have walked alone.